Hello again, Advanced Hires. I hope you're doing really well, keeping safe and following all the government guidelines, and hopefully you're now getting to see some of your family and friends, still outdoors at this time, but hopefully you're getting to see them nonetheless. Okay, so what I've got for you today is the second lesson in our Renaissance unit, and what I'd like to cover are basically three new concepts related to Renaissance vocal works, but we're also going to revise concepts that we learned last time. So remembering that we learned about ballet, we learned about countertenor, and we also learned about madrigals, and learned a lot about the background of the Renaissance era and kind of the influences that informed the music. So to start us off, what I've got for you is this multiple choice question, and I'm just going to read you through the examples and of the concepts. We've got basso continuo, ballet, soprano, through compose, strophic, and countertenor. Now, when it comes to these questions, I always think, are there opposites there, or are there things that it wouldn't make sense if I was to select a couple of them? So you should be thinking in your head maybe that through compose and strophic, you couldn't really tick both of them because they are like opposites of each other. We've also got countertenor and soprano, and unless it is a mixed voice choir, then you're going to be unlikely to have both of them, especially in this Renaissance era. But then we still have basso continuo and ballet. Okay, so this question is asking for 3 answers, and I'm going to play the music to you twice so you can have a listen and select your 3 answers. Okay, so here we go.
Each with his bonny lass upon the greeny grass. Each with his bonny lass upon the greeny grass. The spring glad all in gladness doth laugh at winter sadness. La 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 la. Each with his bonny lass upon the greeny grass. Each with his bonny lass upon the greeny grass. The spring glad all in gladness doth laugh at winter sadness. La 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 la.
Okay, hopefully you found that relatively straightforward. If you could just write down your answers for me and send them to me for these questions, and I can give you feedback and tell you your answers. And so moving on to 1B, we are going to have listening to that example again, and then I would like to identify the instrument playing the obbligato. So have a listen to it, and remember that an obbligato is this obvious solo instrument that we have in a vocal work. So have a listen again and identify the instrument playing the obbligato.
Each with his bonny lass upon the greeny grass. Each with his bonny lass upon the greeny grass. The spring glad all in gladness doth laugh at winter sadness. La 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 la.
Okay, so hopefully that wasn't too difficult for you either. This next question is a bubble type question, so you're going to have a piece of music that is going to play to you with numbers indicating where in the music you to answer the question. So we've got name the type of voice. The structure is based on parts being copied immediately. This is called something. This type of vocal work is called a blank, and then this piece is from the blank era. Okay, so there's 4 questions, and just to remind you, In this type of question, the first two playings you hear the numbers, but in the third playing you don't hear the numbers. Okay, so I'm going to play this through for you and get back to you once the question is done. Good luck. One.
Feeding her flock near to the mountainside. Feeding her flock near to the mountainside. The shepherds knew not whither she was gone. But after her lover meant to slide up and down he wandered, 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 up and down he wandered. But she was missing when he found her.
Three.
Oh, then they fell a-kissing, oh, then they fell a-kissing, a-kissing, oh, then they fell a-kissing. Up and down he wandered,
Four.
up and down he wandered.
One.
Feeding her flock near to the mountainside. Feeding her flock near to the mountainside. The shepherds knew not whither she was gone. But after her lover meant to slide up and down he wandered, 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 up and down he wandered. But she was missing when he found her.
Three.
Oh, then they fell a-kissing, oh, then they fell a-kissing, a-kissing, oh, then they fell a-kissing. Up and down he wandered,
Four.
up and down he wandered. Feeding her flock near to the mountainside. Feeding her flock near to the mountainside. The shepherds knew not whither she was gone. But after her lover meant to slide up and down he wandered, 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 up and down he wandered. But she was missing when he found her. Oh, then they fell a-kissing, oh, then they fell a-kissing, a-kissing, oh, then they fell a-kissing. Up and down he wandered, up and down he wandered, up and down he wandered.
Now moving on to the second part of the lesson where we're going to learn about three new Renaissance vocal concepts. The first one we've got is an air, which can be spelled A-Y-R-E or A-I-R. And this concept is a song or simple melody. Sometimes it can be the title of a movement of a suite, but it often has a lute accompaniment. So if you hear perhaps one singer that's been accompanied by a lute, and you're definitely sure that it is from the Renaissance era, then the answer is probably going to be air. So let's have a little listen to a simple melody with a lute accompaniment.
Flow, my tears, fall from your space. Exile forever, let me mourn. One night's black part has sad infamy sings. Let me live for the lost fortunes deplore, light thus much shame disclose.
So not too difficult a concept to understand, just think a simple melody that's been sung with a lute accompaniment. Okay, moving on to our next concept, and this is anthem. Now, when it comes to Renaissance vocal works, it's quite clear to split the concepts, that is, into two different categories. So either sacred, which is holy, or secular, which is non-religious. And right now we've only really talked about our madrigal, which is secular. And we've talked about a ballet, which is also secular. So the two concepts I've got for you next are sacred, holy pieces of music. So the first of which is an anthem. And an anthem is a short sacred choral piece sung in English. So that's one of the main areas in which you can identify that this is an anthem, is because it is holy and it's in English. You'll be hearing them singing about God. It could be Jesus, these kind of words within the text. It's also usually sung by a choir a cappella, so you're not going to hear, or most of the time it's going to be a cappella, so you won't hear any other instruments, but sometimes it can have an organ accompaniment as it is sacred and would be in a church. So let's have a wee listen to an anthem. Just moving on to our last concept then, which is going to be motet. Now, a motet is different from our anthem because it's going to be in Latin. So our anthem is sacred and English, and our motet is sacred and in Latin. The motet also features polyphonic texture, and again is usually sung a cappella. So listening to a piece of vocal music in the Renaissance era, you have to really narrow it down to the language it's singing in, and also if it's sacred or secular, to make sure you have an informed decision before you make a guess. So a motet is going to be sacred, it's Latin, usually a cappella, and has polyphonic texture. So let's have a little listen to a motet. Okay, so that's our 3 new concepts we learned about today. We learned about our air, remembering that's a simple melody with a lute accompaniment. We learned about our anthem, which is sacred in English, and we learned about our motet, which is sacred but in Latin. Okay, so just to recap then, so today we revised concepts from lesson 1. We looked at madrigal, we looked at countertenor, and we looked at what else did we look at? Ballet. And then today we looked at air, anthem and motet. So hopefully you have a better understanding and more knowledge of our Renaissance era. Again, if you could just send me a picture of your workings, not only for the questions so I can give you feedback, but also just so I can see that you've written down the notes on these concepts. Stay safe, see you next week.